Welcome back to Crypto Unlocked. I'm your host, Crypto Daryl. And the recent crash in Bitcoin, was it just another correction? It was a psychological test, I would say. One that wiped out over-leveraged traders, triggered mass panic, and made everyone question if the bull market was actually over. But now the dust is settled. Bitcoin has rebounded, and quietly, without much attention at all, it's begun building a structure that could mark the start of something massive. I believe this drop was a final shakeout before the breakout. This wasn't just volatility, this was strategy. Smart money never buys the top. They wait for the fear and chaos for maximum uncertainty, and then they buy. The signs are clear. Bitcoin reclaimed key moving averages. On-chain data is showing accumulation. Whale wallets are growing. Exchange balances are dropping, and the RSI has reset from overheated to neutral, giving the market breathing room for the next leg up. We're not just climbing randomly. There's structure here. The V-shaped bounce after the drop, the increasing volume on green candles, the bounce off the 200-day moving average, these are signs of strength, not weakness. And this kind of setup has historically marked the beginning of a parabolic phases in Bitcoin's past cycles. Let's talk macro. Institutional inflows haven't stopped. ETF volume is steady. Miner hash rate is near all-time highs. Dormant supply is hitting records, meaning long-term holders aren't budging. Institutions were quiet. They weren't selling. They were watching. Now they're buying. Add that to the macroeconomic backdrop of potential rate cuts coming, a weakening of the dollar, and global instability, Bitcoin becomes more than just a trade. When you look at the bigger picture, this recent crash ended up being the best entry we'll see for the rest of the cycle. But it's not just Bitcoin I'm watching. If Bitcoin continues to push, the altcoin market will also follow. That means Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and even smaller DeFi and real-world asset projects all have room to run. But timing is key. You don't want to chase pumps. You want to position before the breakout, not during it. That means right now is the best time to be identifying high-volume altcoins with bullish structures, watching for breakouts from consolidation zones, and keeping a tight stop-loss strategy. Discipline is how you win on this part of the cycle. Let me be clear. I'm not saying we go straight up from here. There will always be volatility. Bitcoin might retest lower levels before climbing again, but structurally, the market looks like it's setting up for something to be explosive. And I'd rather be an early managing risk than chasing a green candles later when FOMO and no plan kicks in. This market rewards the prepared, not the reactive. This is where your research, your risk management, and your ability to stay calm under pressure are tested. So here's what I'm doing. I'm holding my core Bitcoin position. I'm rotating into altcoins with strong narratives and low downside risk. I'm tracking volume, on-chain data, and watching for institutional behavior very closely. I'm not over-leveraging. I'm not guessing. I'm positioning, because if this is the final shakeout before Bitcoin makes its run towards new all-time highs, and I believe it will be, I want to be in position for it. Not just as a trader, but as a strategist, because that's what it takes in this market. Strategy, not speculation. And if you need more confirmation, take a look at what's happening globally. You're seeing record high inflation in some regions. Central banks are quietly discussing the long-term viability of fiat currencies. More nations are warming up to the idea of digital assets as part of their reserves. Even major banks are developing custodial solutions for crypto. It's not just speculation anymore. It's infrastructure. It's evolution. This is where generational wealth can be made, but only for those who stay focused, who don't panic, who trust the data. The signals are aligning, the volume is shifting, sentiment is recovering, and history tells us the move that follows can be life-changing. So I'll ask you this again. Was that just a crash, or was that the last crash before the breakout? Because in a few weeks, the answer might be obvious, but by then, it'll be too late to position for it and stay one step ahead. This is the time where patience pays off. When the ones who've done their research, who've maintained discipline, and who've stayed calm through the storm finally get rewarded. You don't need to predict every single price movement. You just need to understand the structure, spot the opportunity, and act when the odds are stacked in your favor. When Bitcoin starts moving, really moving, it sets the tone for the entire crypto market. And right now, all eyes are on Bitcoin because when it breaks key resistance with volume, something major tends to follow: altcoin season. See, altcoins don't just wake up randomly. They just respond to Bitcoin's stability, not necessarily its volatility, but its direction. If the Bitcoin surges too fast, it dominates attention, but once it cools off and consolidates, especially near all-time highs, that's the moment altcoins tend to explode. It starts with Ethereum. Usually Ethereum will lead the altcoin market as Bitcoin's momentum begins to slow. That Ethereum Bitcoin pair becomes a key signal. If Ethereum gains strength against Bitcoin, it's like a green light for altcoins. Then capital flows from the large cap altcoins like Solana, Avalanche, and Chainlink. These coins ride the wave first, pulling in traders and fresh liquidity, and from there, it trickles down to mid and low caps, often delivering the biggest percentage gains, but timing is everything. If you're watching Bitcoin right now and it's climbing with healthy volume, strong support, and no signs of blow-off top behavior, you're likely in the early stages of this shift. That window is where smart money rotates out of Bitcoin profits and starts stacking altcoin positions. That's where we make our move. Altcoin season doesn't mean buy anything blindly. It means identifying coins with real momentum, volume surges, or strong narratives forming. Think DePIN, real-world assets, AI, and consumer crypto. The narratives that align with macro shifts and understand interest tend to pump the hardest. And here's the truth. The people who benefit the most from altcoin seasons are the ones who are positioned early. Before X spaces are full of FOMO, before TikTok influencers start naming coins that already 10x'd. So ask yourself, is Bitcoin showing that kind of strength that leads to altcoin rotations? Are charts showing altcoins forming higher lows and consolidation patterns? Are you seeing volume pickup? If yes, this could be the beginning. The best traders are often the most uncomfortable, the ones made in uncertainty, the ones that go against the crowd. That's what we saw last cycle, and that's what we're seeing currently. So keep your eyes open, keep your strategy tight, because the next leg up, the answer will be obvious. But by then, it might already be too late. Stay focused, stay tactical, and stay ready. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more updates.